Welcome to the fifth in a series of 9 presidential debates for the 2012 election. Sorry we're a bit late starting, it's pissing it down outside and I couldn't find the turning. The candidates are incumbent President Barack Obama for the Democratic Party, Governor Mitt Romney for the Republican Party, and Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, an independent. I of course am a respected British television personality, but I won't bother to say my name because none of you Yanks will have heard of me. The theme of today's debate is religion. Questions will focus on faith and the influence it plays in each candidate's life. A new precedent has been set this year, as we have 3 candidates with 3 different religions. Barack Obama, the Muslim. Mitt Romney, the Scientologist. And Michele Bachmann, who I believe is some kind of witch. Mitt Romney, with the recent divorce of Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise, do you think America is becoming more wary of Scientology, and perhaps a bit more critical of what it involves?
Well, first of all, I'm not a Scientologist. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There's a significant difference between the two.
I apologize. What are the differences between Scientology and the Church of Latter-day Saints?
They are polar opposites. Scientology was founded by a science fiction author who believed in aliens from outer space. They consider theirs to be the only true religion on Earth. They have extremely secretive rituals and doctrines which they only share with their most devoted members. They try to alienate anyone who leaves the church from their families. They revere their founder as if he were God, and they consider his writings to be infallible scripture, even though they've edited those writings dozens of times over the years.
That sounds more like a cult than a church. Could you tell me what your beliefs are?
I just told you.
But you were just describing Scientology. What are your beliefs?
It's in the name of the church, my friend. The Church of Jesus Christ, of Latter-day Saints.
How large a role does faith play in your everyday life? Do your religious beliefs influence your day-to-day decisions? How strongly would they influence your actions as president?
My faith is a very important part of my life. I'm a 5th-generation member of my church, and I have a deep respect for the religion of my forefathers, and their proud heritage. I respect the separation between church and state. I wouldn't want government to have influence over my church any more than I'd want my church to have influence over government.
Do you consider yourself a Christian?
Absolutely.
Why?
My church is a Christian church. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, who came in the flesh to the Americas, to testify to the Israelites who arrived here in submarines.
What value of your faith do you feel is the most influential in your outlook to life, and would most strongly guide your leadership as president?
The value of family. I believe strongly in family in the traditional sense. My wife has a horse, for Pete's sake.
We'll be back after some more of those adverts you Yanks seem to like so much. Barack Obama. Your critics have pointed out you spent 20 years of your life attending a radical church headed by Jeremiah Wright, which some compare to the Westboro Baptist Church. How do you respond to those criticisms? Do you acknowledge that some see him as a radical preacher? How strongly were you influenced by those sermons you attended for 20 years?
I'm aware of the comments people are referring to. I personally was not present when those comments were made. The sermons were never radical on occasions when I was in the pews. Trinity is a respected Christian church with good Christian values. I am not ashamed to have attended the church, or ashamed of the relationship I have with Jeremiah Wright.
So you're saying you're a Christian now?
I've always been a Christian. I'm not sure where this Muslim rumor keeps coming from. Perhaps because I spent several years of my childhood in Indonesia, which is a Muslim country.
Your opponent Mitt Romney hasn't commented on your faith. His campaign considers the matter to be off limits. So let me ask, do you consider yourself to be a practicing Christian?
You're absolutely right that Mitt Romney has not talked about my Muslim faith.
You mean Christian faith?
My Christian faith, yes, I do consider myself a practicing Christian. I attend church with my wife and daughters in Washington. We're a faithful family, although we keep it private.
Mr. Obama, you said that you are a practicing Christian. Can you tell me how that has influenced your role as president? Have any decisions you've made been guided by your faith?
Yes. My Christian faith guided me to make the decision to affirm my support for same-sex marriage.
Would you like to expand on that a little?
When I think about my faith, the main thing that I think about is not only Christ sacrificing himself on our behalf. It's also that golden rule. Do as I say, not as I do.
I believe that treat others as you'd wish to be treated.
Yes, that. Slightly different wording.
What value or aspect of your faith would you say has the biggest effect on the way you live your life?
I would say it's knowing that being good is its own reward. So I try to live to the very best of my abilities. I think Gandhi exemplifies the fine line between grace and dogma.
But Gandhi was a Hindu.
That is the ideal I aspire to. For me, Christianity is about charity of spirit, from each according to his abilities, to each according to his needs. As Jesus preached on the Mount.
Sarah Palin, what are you doing here? Where is Michelle Bachmann?
Michelle had to step outside for a moment to attend an important prayer meeting, but she asked me to step in and answer a few questions on her behalf.
Are you insane? She can't assign a proxy to answer questions. I want to hear from Michelle Bachmann herself.
I'm perfectly qualified to answer these kinds of questions, gosh darn it. Michelle and I belong to the same faith. I can tell you exactly how she feels about religious issues.
Get Michelle Bachmann back on the stage right now. This is absolutely outrageous. It would never happen in Britain.
I was in Britain recently for the Olympics.
I don't really care for Britain.
I think that's something we can all agree on.
How dare you? Bring Michelle Bachmann here now. If she isn't on stage by the end of this break, the debate is over. I'm sick of you pissing around like this was some kind of game.
All right. Jeez. Take a chill pill.
Michelle Bachmann, you're back. What were you doing? Worshipping Satan, perhaps?
What? I was called away to join in prayer for our country.
Called away by who?
God.
God called you away?
Yes. He's my campaign manager.
I beg your pardon?
God guides me. He tells me what to do, and I listen and obey. He guided me to run for president, so I did. When I lost the Republican primary, he guided me to run as an independent. The Bible instructs us to listen to God and let Him guide us in our lives, so that's what I do. I listen to His instructions, and those of my husband, and my life has been blessed.
I can see this is going to be interesting. Michelle Bachmann, you said that you obey God, and also obey your husband. What did you mean by that?
The Bible instructs wives to respect their husband, so when my husband tells me to wash the dishes, or to get a degree in tax law, or to run for president, I obey him.
Is it basically a sadomasochistic relationship then?
It's not that at all. I respect my husband by listening to his opinion, just as he listens to and respects my opinion. He doesn't hold any power over me.
Sorry, but you sound completely deluded, which reminds me. Do you realize that your husband is a flaming homosexual?
My husband is 125% straight. Perhaps you're confused because he provides psychological treatment to people who are afflicted by homosexuality, to free them from sin.
So you believe that homosexuality is a sin?
I'm running for president. I think we should focus on issues that are relevant to the presidential campaign.
This issue is relevant to people who are homosexual. Is it true that you stated all homosexuals should be rounded up and placed in concentration camps?
I'm running for president of the United States. I'd like to talk about that.
How would your faith influence your role as president?
As president, my faith would guide everything I do, every decision I make, every position I appoint, every policy I enact, each and every day.
You are aware that there is a separation of church and state.
With all due respect, you are not an American. I don't think you understand the nuances of our Constitution. Nowhere does it forbid the influence of religion in politics. The First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion. It doesn't state that we cannot follow an already established one. It doesn't state that we cannot be religious, or govern the country based on our religious beliefs, nor does it include the president and executive branch in those prohibitions. It merely states that we cannot establish one religion to the exclusion of all others, or regulate individual freedom to worship or not worship according to each person's beliefs.
So you see no problem in combining religion and politics?
As president, I would return this great country to a Christian nation, one nation under God. I would allow God to guide me in the decisions I make.
And your husband? Well, it's been an exciting debate, and hopefully it has shed some light on the beliefs of the candidates. Before we finish, I would like to ask each candidate to describe their candidacy in a single word, starting with Barack Obama.
Equality.
Mitt Romney.
Fairness.
Michelle Bachmann.
God.
And with that ends the fifth presidential debate of the 2012 campaign. I'd like to thank the candidates for taking part, and you the viewers for watching. Now I have to catch a plane because my visa's expired and they won't renew it.
LOL.